It was his son's first successful deer hunt. They had hunted before,
Yeah.
but it was like public land or, ask for permission on this, buddy's place, whatever. And he
Yeah.
had messaged me and I said, well, come on up. I said, we'll get him a doe. I'm not worried about it all. 17 minutes, they were done. So
welcome to the LandTrust podcast, where land, technology, and the outdoors meet. Whether you're a landowner, an outdoor enthusiast, or someone curious about the future of recreation on private land, you're in the right place. Each episode, we share real stories from the LandTrust community, from unforgettable guest experiences to conversations with landowners about their land and why they choose to share it. Plus, interviews with leaders, shaping how we all experience the outdoors. And now, here's your host, Nick Castro.
Welcome to the LandTrust podcast, where land, technology, and the outdoors come together. This episode is part of our Seasoned Host series, where we highlight landowners who've hosted many memorable experiences through LandTrust. I'm your host, Nick Castro, and I'm the founder of LandTrust. Today, we're in Perry County, Pennsylvania to meet Dylan Matter of Matter Farms, a host who's made his name for himself through thoughtful hospitality and top-notch hunting access. Dylan's 110-acre property offers a mix of timbered hollows and cropland. It's rich with wildlife and delivers high shot opportunities on both gobblers and does. But what really makes Dylan stand out is the way that he hosts, meeting guests the night before hunts, sending them trail cam photos in advance, and even loaning gear to help them have a safe, successful experience. One guest summed it up best when he said, "You won't find a nicer guy than Dylan." Let's get into the story behind Matter Farms and what it means for Dylan to open up his land to others. Welcome to the show, Dylan.
yeah, glad to be here.
Well, great, man. So I'd love to hear a little bit. I've actually never been to your property. I've never actually hunted in Pennsylvania. So I'd love to hear a little bit about what's your property like? How did it come to your hands? What does it look like?
So I guess we'll go back to like 2018, 2019. It was on the MLS and I knew it was a good property. It was about 10, 12 minutes from where I was currently living at the time. And I didn't have a way to really afford it. So I had talked to my father-in-law and he said, well, that's a no-brainer property. Timber's great. I went to school for timber or for forestry. So I had a pretty good background on that. So I said, there's some really good timber here. He said, well, buy it. I said, I ain't got no money. So he ended up buying it and we sorted things out later. In 2019, I decided I was done in the timber industry and I wanted to farm because ultimately I wanted to do food plots and all that stuff for myself and, kind of manage my own farm. The only way I could do that was to dramatically increase my income. So what we did was 2019, my wife and we signed a contract to grow ducks. So it's actually a duck farm.
Oh.
We have 40,000 ducks on the farm here. And then they're all meat birds. And then I have about 80-40 is what I tell people, 80 timber, 40 tillable. I traded some land, sold some land to make it better for hunting more or less. But so we did that. And now we're in 2025 and I'm still, doing a bunch of habitat management stuff and always changing food plots around and adding tree stands and box blinds. But so long story short, we became duck farmers and that allows us to basically essentially pay for the farm. Not getting rich by any means, but really enjoy the flexibility. And with LandTrust, it helps out. I can make a couple extra bucks and help some people reach their goals. And I think the one hunt, the guy, it was his son's first deer hunt, his first successful deer hunt. They had hunted before, but it was like public land or, ask for permission on this, buddy's place, whatever. And he had messaged me and I said, well, come on up. I said, we'll get him a doe. I'm not worried about it all. 17 minutes, they were done. So they had a pretty short hunt, but I went back to bed. I meet everybody here either night before or morning of. And I dropped them off and walked them into the stand I wanted them to hunt. And then I went back to bed and I didn't even fall asleep. So, but
that's awesome, man.
It's been a lot of fun.
Well, you're the first duck farmer I've talked to that I know of.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you, what's an interesting part about your property? I feel like farming ducks is pretty interesting.
Yeah. Well,
I was going to say, what kind of what species of duck is it?
Yeah, they look like the white Aflac ducks of the pecans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's a big meat bird. That's awesome. I love eating duck is a great thing to eat, wild birds too. So how did you first hear about LandTrust and kind of like, I don't know, what inspired you to give it a shot?
Yeah. So basically, I was at the Seven Springs TAC event, and I'm pretty sure it's where I met you actually at that
Yes,
event. I'm not sure who was with you. There's two guys. I saw
that's
land and
right.
trust. I was like, well, I like trust and I like land. I figured it was like some kind of like investment, like I put my money in land and I get to hunt it myself or something like that. But I was talking to you guys and whoever was with you at that event had said, well, do you have turkeys on your property? And I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, dude, just sell the turkey hunts. And that's where it started. So I said, well, I could do some doe hunts too. But the reason I really did it was I just kind of enjoy helping people and an extra couple bucks, like I said, with the new farm here and being young. And I got two kids under the age of 3 and extra
Yeah.
money never really hurts. So, but yeah, it
Yeah.
was a TAC event. I met you guys and yeah, I signed
That's
up.
right, Dylan. Yes, I do remember the conversation now. It's been a couple years.
Oh, yeah, it's
Uh,
3 at
yeah,
least,
and no, I
maybe
totally
4.
remember the conversation now. Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
I had one last kid then, so so I got 3 kids myself. But
Heck yeah.
yes, that conversation completely comes back to me now. That was a fun event too.
Oh, I
Although I
love
will
that.
say I got bed bugs at that hotel, man. Only
Uh,
time in my life I've traveled, I used to be a traveling sales guy. I did like 1,000,000 miles before I was 26 years old. Never had bed bugs in any hotel ever, and, like, I got bed bugs at that hotel. It was terrible.
Is it it's a pretty solid resort, I think, for, like, the area and
Yeah.
stuff, so it's kinda surprising, but,
We
yeah,
didn't
we've
name any
always
names of what
Airbnb'd.
resort it is, but yeah.
Yeah. We've always Airbnb'd kinda off-site 'cause we were too cheap or wanted something a little nicer or bigger or something. We usually have a group of guys
Yeah.
that go out.
Yeah, that was a fun event. We were there with, John Dudley and,
Mhm.
that crew. It was fun. So, we got to meet you in person in Pennsylvania, and, yeah, you gave us a shot, and you've probably been listed with us for at least a year or 2, right?
Yeah, yeah, because I mean, it's at least this is my 2nd turkey season for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'd be like a year and a half. So one deer season so far. This coming year will be my 2nd deer season. And we're in the midst of our 2nd turkey season with you guys. And I just had a gentleman, he came up from Mississippi and he got his turkey Monday morning. It was like 9 o'clock.
Awesome. The Mississippi guys, I'm friends with some of the, Mossy Oak guys. Mississippi turkey hunters are turkey hunting fools, man. Those guys, it's like religion. It's a totally different world, man.
Yeah, yeah. The one cool thing I like about the land trust part of it is I can kind of it's like super flexible, so I can set it up to where it's DIY or I'm going to help you,
Yeah.
or I can like the communication part's really easy through land trust. They actually like can text you, you can text them right back. Airbnb and like VRBO for like that style of thing, they're really protective of like people's phone numbers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Mason, I was talking to him. He's like a big turkey hunter, and we were in contact. And he'd message me like once a week, be like, "Hey, how them turkeys doing?" So I'd send some pictures, and he would normally text me like 9 a.m. So I was just getting pictures from the trail cameras that morning, so it was super fresh data. But
Yeah.
um, after meeting him, I was like, "Yeah, this guy's killing a turkey. Like, I'm not even worried about it because I I
Yeah.
do I do feel bad when somebody pays me, any type of money or any type of payment and they aren't fully successful. And I know having a good time and experience is part of the success, but ultimately, I mean, they're paying me to shoot a turkey or a deer or whatever. So yeah, I was really confident that Mason was going to get the job done. So I like that, but and I'm way more confident in my deer hunts just because that's what I'm used
Yeah.
to. And yeah, I pretty much it's 100%. Like if you don't get a deer in rifle season, within 100 yards of wherever I have you set, like I'll gladly give you your money back. I think I might even put that in my list. But yeah, I'm just that
Yeah, you're
confident
pretty
with deer.
confident.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. It's a good point though, we really wanna make sure that people understand, like, LandTrust is a DIY platform, and there are some landowners in some places say, "Hey, we'll kinda semi-guide you," but the baseline is this is do it yourself. It's access, and, it's exclusive. If you book it for the dates you book it, you're the only person out there. You have a place to yourself. But we always make sure that people understand this is still hunting. Like, this is
Mhm.
not a guaranteed thing. It's about access and opportunity experience. Of course, it's always great, and we have a lot of success on the platform. But we always make sure, hey, it's not guaranteed. It's still hunting, so it's a good kind of point you brought up there.
Yeah.
So do you guys live on the property or do you guys live near the property?
Yeah. So 2022, we had cut some timber off the farm and we built a house. So we moved in it. Actually, it might have been 21 when we cut the timber, but yeah. Yeah, we live here now, thankfully. Makes life a lot easier.
That's great. I'm curious, we're still fairly new, I would say, in Pennsylvania. We have a handful of properties in Pennsylvania. Have you hosted more locals or people from other states?
Mm. So technically, I think definitely more out of staters. So I got some. I did 3 turkey hunts so far, and only one of them was Pennsylvania, and that was actually the father of that doe hunt that I did with the kid. He wanted to come out for turkey. He had never turkey hunted, and he unfortunately wasn't successful, but had a good time. But yeah, so he was my only Pennsylvania turkey hunt, and then I had 2 guys from Philadelphia deer hunt, and then obviously the son of that father. So all of my deer hunts have been Pennsylvania. Only 1 turkey hunt has been Pennsylvania.
That's interesting. And you don't really turkey hunt yourself?
I'm very opportunistic, I guess, with it.
Yeah.
If there's a turkey out in the field and I got time and I could sneak up on him, I'll go for it. But I typically don't get up that early. I got barn chores to do. And then typically this time of year, I'm planting soybeans and corn and other plots and whatnot. I do have a side business that I do where I install plots for other guys. So I'm just too busy really during our turkey season to go out.
Right. Interesting. So I guess has there been anything kind of like unexpected or anything that you weren't expecting by hosting people, on your land through LandTrust? Has there been any kind of interesting impacts on your family or just things you didn't expect?
I guess the most surprising thing is I took my knowledge and my upbringing for granted. I hosted those guys from Philly, like they had no clue like this kind of terrain was even in Pennsylvania. And I'm not like a super, rural area. I have some cabins in, North Woods, big woods of PA, and that's like a totally different scenery. But yeah, so just like, the experience level of some of the people that I get, hunting wise, really surprised me how much they don't know.
Yeah.
And, I live and breathe deer hunting. It's what I want to do. It's why it's all I spend my money on, I should say. I mean that, as long as the bills are paid and most of the food is in the fridge, I spent a lot of money on hunting, realistically too much money, but I just took that stuff for granted, and like my gear that I have and like the people that come here for deer hunts, if they don't have a rifle or anything like that, like they're glad, I'll gladly let them use one of mine, and they're like, oh no, I got my own, and they get here and it's like a $300 rifle, and I was like, nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's gonna kill deer. I mean, I did it back in the day, but now I have substantial rifles and scopes, and they don't even know. But
Yeah.
if someone was like, oh, here's my $10,000 custom setup, you can gladly use it, or you can use yours. If someone said that to me, I'd be like, yeah, give me the custom gun. But yeah, it just surprises me the lack of knowledge that people have. But I try to the guys from Philly, after I skinned their deer, I did all that for them, put in the back of their truck, and we were just talking, and I was like, because he wants to hunt, he doesn't want to have to pay for all of his hunts, and they had said, what do you look for? Like, how do you get in better deer territory? So I like that part of it too, and but yeah, definitely the experience level of the people that I get, and then the adverse, the turkey hunter that I just got, that I just had on Monday. He knew leaps and bounds more about turkeys than I did. And obviously it showed he was successful. So, yeah, I guess you get both ends of the spectrum, which is kind of cool. Wasn't expecting that. I don't know what I was really expecting, but I didn't think anybody living in Pennsylvania would have that little deer knowledge. it's just kind of like a big tradition here. So, but
You guys are the biggest hunting state. I'm pretty sure as of last year, the most licensed hunters out of any state in the country. I want to say it was Pennsylvania, Texas, and Michigan. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, I don't know if we have the most licensed hunters, but definitely the most hunters per like square mile. Um,
Yeah.
Texas, I think, still beats us on total number of hunters, but yeah, we used to have like upwards of 1 million hunters in Pennsylvania. Now I think it's like down to 700 or 650, but with the advancements of weapons and knowledge, we're still killing, we're harvesting the same amount of animals as we were back then, according to the Game Commission. So
Yeah. So for obviously you love the deer hunt. And I think that's a really important point too for landowners, because a lot of our landowners are, agriculture, multi-generational, but their friends and families, their kids like to hunt still. And traditionally, if you wanted to generate recreational income from your property, it was kind of like year leases or multi-year leases. And so it's a little bit more restrictive from that perspective, where it's like, well, we still want to hunt the deer, but you know, you hunt the bucks on your property, but you bring people in to shoot does and
yeah.
turkeys and whatnot, right? So it can be flexible even for the people who still want to kind of use their property themselves, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Last year, I think we harvested a total of 10 deer off this farm. Myself, I think I shot 3 and I got a buck. And Pennsylvania is not, the biggest buck killing, or I guess you're not coming here to shoot a trophy buck per se. Um, but last year I shot what was at least a 3-year-old 125-inch, you know, big, heavy 8 point. I was happy with.
Yeah.
Uh, and I passed up some younger buck and whatnot. But the way that I have my property set up, I can take 5 hunters a year, get them on a doe, and not really affect my hunting. And that's partly because the way my property sets up naturally, we can access it from 3 sides. I got east, north, and south access of my farm. So that makes it pretty easy. And then, just I pay attention to the wind, and that's why I put the people where I want them to go.
Yeah.
Just so it's not really affecting my hunting per se. And
Yeah.
then I always have them call me or text me if they shoot something. And then I pick them up at the blind, and we'll either drive the side by side of the tractor or vehicle right to the harvested animal. So, but yeah, I don't have really any struggle with hunting, because last year I actually shot my buck and rifle season. I don't do any archery hunts here right now. Uh, I do leave that kind of for myself, but
Sure.
rifle season is kind of wide open for LandTrust people to come in and out.
Yeah.
And I can still, I personally hunted while a LandTrust hunter was hunting, just because I wanted to be out there. And I also could have shot a doe that evening, and they ended up, that was the guys from Philly. They saw deer and were able to shoot one of them. So
Yeah.
yeah, not every landowner is going to have that luxury, I guess, but some landowners don't care that, they're a traditional old school farmer. They don't want the deer or whatever eating the crops. So they're just like, yeah, go for it. But yeah, if you wanted to, and you're smart about it, you can hunt your property and still open it up with the land trust.
Yeah. Yeah. And it sounds like, for people, I've got young kids. My oldest daughter is going to be 6 soon. So she's interested. She can't stop talking ever. And I've told her, like, I want to take you hunting, but you have to be quiet. And she just hasn't figured that piece out yet. But maybe a box blind or something would be a good first hunt for her. But it sounds like your property would be a fantastic place, either for people looking for a freezer filler or first time or new hunters, kids, to go get a doe. It sounds like it's a great place to go do that.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Well, I guess I do it all myself, but I try to set it up, that it's, as effective as possible. And, a healthy doe population leads to healthy buck, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The mom's health is just as important as the dad's health, nutrition wise.
Yeah. That's great. Man, I appreciate you coming on and sharing some of the knowledge and experience you've had so far now, a couple seasons in. And, great times that you've been able to host for kind of some of the more kind of newbie hunters, which is amazing. That's how we get people into hunting and retain them, is having quality experiences, actually seeing animals. Like you said, some folks were out in public land and it's just a grind and never even saw anything. And there's only so many times you can take a kid out, 3 a.m. mornings and trot through the woods with nothing to show for it. So it's really good to be able to get them out to even see animals. And yeah, if they can harvest one, that's great. So it's awesome on that side. And then of course, hosting some really kind of seasoned veterans, like the turkey hunters that you just had from Mississippi. So I appreciate you as a landowner and a partner of ours. And thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yeah. Appreciate you having me. And hopefully one of these days I could be the hunter instead of the host. I want to do some more hunting myself, but pretty busy. So I guess hosting and hunting my home farm is what I got for now.
Yeah, you'll have to get out. And what's a hunt you want to do? You really want to do? Is it like a mule deer hunt or an elk hunt?
I'm a whitetail guy. So I went to Montana near like the Bozeman, like Livingston area. And I still hunted whitetail there. I really like that area.
It's so much fun. So yeah, we have a bunch of great whitetail properties in Montana. So you already know the guys. You have to just say, hey, put me on a spot. So, well, that's awesome, Dylan. Appreciate you coming on, man.
Yep.
That was Dylan Matter from Matter Farms in Perry County, Pennsylvania. A big thanks to Dylan for coming on, sharing his story, and being one of the many seasoned hosts who make up the over 1.4 million acres of land on LandTrust, and for being a bridge between private landowners and the outdoor community. Hey, if you're interested in experiencing Matter Farm for yourself, whether you want to go book a trip for a spring gobbler or maybe do a freezer filler doe hunt with your kids, you can go to landtrust.com and search for Matter Farm. That's Matter. And you can see his listing and the packages that he's offering. And we'll also put a link to his listing in the show notes. And if you're a landowner who's thinking about listing your land, it's easy to get started for free. Just head to landtrust.com/landowners, where you can see many other videos and content for our landowners to help answer questions. Or you can simply give us a call or text our team at 406-709-8450. We're happy to answer any questions you might have, and we'll even help you get building your first free listing on LandTrust. And if you haven't already, like, subscribe, comment, and share this video with friends or family you think might like it. It really helps us bring on great guests like Dylan, and it helps the algorithms kind of surface the show so that we can continue to grow. All right, folks, that's a wrap. Thanks for listening, and don't forget, if you're looking for your next great outdoor experience, you know where to find it, landtrust.com. See you next time.